In our headlines this morning, Governor Soludo reassures of fulfilling promises made to Anambra. Anambra traditional rulers urge workers to collect permanent voters' cards ahead of 2023 general elections. Federal government calls for synergy among agencies in maritime sector to fight corruption. Russia to arm Belarus with missiles against NATO threats. Now, before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Nonye Nwokoye. Now, Governor Chukwuma Soludo says he will embark on construction of 220 kilometers of road across Anambra State as the rain subsides later this year. Governor Soludo revealed this during a statewide broadcast to mark his 100 days in office as the governor of Anambra State. Our correspondent Valentine Mbadoga has details.
Recall that Professor Chukwuma Soludo was sworn into office as the governor of Anambra State on March 17, 2022, and has completed his 100 days in office. Giving account of the activities of the government over the 100 days, Governor Soludo reassured of his commitment on implementing the Soludo Solution, the People's Manifesto, with its 5 driving pillars, which includes security, law and order, economic transformation agenda, social agenda, governance, rule of law and value system, and environment, geared towards achieving a clean, green and planned sustainable cities and markets. Governor Soludo explained that despite obvious challenges, that Anambra State will remain on course to actualize a livable and prosperous smart homeland, adding that he has spent the last 100 days addressing some key fundamental issues focused on laying strong foundation for the prosperity of the state, while emphasizing the need for some fundamental disruptive changes which, according to him, are inevitable. Governor Soludo promised that Anambra tax money must work for them.
The last 100 days have been bumpy and challenging as expected, with insecurity and a red treasury being the most potent, as clearly identified in our inaugural address. Since February 2022, the contribution of oil revenue from the NNPC to the Federation account has been zero, and many states have difficulty paying salaries. Thus, with declining revenue in the context of insecurity and the mountain of debt, including over 20 billion in arrears of gratuity to pensioners since 2018, vis-a-vis the sky-high expectations from you, our employers, some fundamental disruptive changes are then inevitable.
Governor Soludo assured to present Anambra with the first annual report come March next year, calling on the spirit of sacrifice and patriotism among the people to make Anambra achieve greatness. The governor maintained his readiness to remain the chief promoter and marketer of made in Anambra products, expressing optimism that Anambra will win on the long run.
In 1 month, we have fixed the dreaded Amansi Road with its nightmarish logjam, the washout portion of the federal road at Onitsha, and will still have change to intervene in one other terrible spot. That's the new normal for our administration, and that is cutting waste and delivering service to the people. We maintain the policy of the past administration on Community Choose Your Project, in which communities receive grants from the state government to execute a project or projects of priority to the community. Our administration has launched the new phase and increased the grant from 20 to 25 million per community. And we've launched a policy that no retiree from the state civil service will be owed gratuity under our administration. Our new administration is determined to ensure that local government funds are deployed to address developmental issues at the grassroots.
Members of the Executive Council, the Anambra State Head of Service, Barrister Theodora Igwebe, the National Vice President of Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, Chief Damian Okeko Kene, the Anambra State President of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief Emeka Udodeme, the ASATU National President, Barrister Titus Udo, the members of ABGA State Working Committee, led by the ABGA State Chairman, Sanobat Ubi, among others, attended the event. From the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, Valentine Mbada reporting for ABS News.
Anambra State House of Assembly has described the first 100 days of office in office of Governor Chukwuma Soludo as eventful. In his congratulatory message to Governor Soludo on behalf of the state legislature, the Speaker, Right Honorable Uche Okafor, noted that the governor has demonstrated in practical terms his genuine desire to provide Anambra with good governance in all sectors. We have details.
Mr. Speaker!
Right Honorable Okafor recounted some of the strides of Governor Soludo so far, to include massive environmental sanitation, employment, road infrastructure, especially the Oka Amansi Ugwaba road construction, as well as his promise to complete by December this year one of the most strategic roads in the state, the Ufuma Awa Ndi Ukwenu Amansi road, in addition to increasing the community choose a project initiative from 20 to 25 million naira, among others. The Speaker extolled the cordial working relationship existing between the state lawmakers and the governor, which he said has helped in uplifting the living condition of the citizenry and the overall development of the state. He enjoined Anambra, especially politicians, to desist from capable of retarding the pace of development in the state, but to join hands with Governor Soludo in moving the state to greater heights. Right Honorable Okafor prayed God to continue to give Governor Soludo the wisdom, strength, and grace to accomplish his lofty agenda for the total transformation of the state and well-being of the citizenry.
A two-day retreat organized by the Anambra State Ministry of Power in collaboration with the State Power Committee and Next Year Power Group has ended with a call for a collective action to ensure that Anambra do not lose out on the third and fourth industrial revolutions. The retreat at Agolo Lake Golden Tulip Hotel had its theme as Ife Adigo, building a private sector-led Anambra electricity market pivotal, achievable and urgent. Our correspondent Blessing Uchendo reports.
Speaking at the retreat, the Secretary to the Government of Anambra State, Professor Solochukwu Lobelo, said that power is a critical development enabler which is fundamental in the plan for a smart megacity that Governor Chukwuma Soludo envisions. He noted that the committee was the first to be reconstituted by the governor and urged its members to put hands together in clearing all bottlenecks in the state power sector.
Without power, we're going nowhere. At Anambra State, indeed, some of the things I sent to him during that period, I think he felt I was paranoid about power. That Anambra State, or indeed Nigeria, was starting the second industrial revolution, largely because of power. A lot of the problems we have, challenges we have in our economy, manufacturing, even small business people and the rest of them. And some of us that involved in some little agro-processing thing. You know, power is critical, very, very critical. And without it, no nation is going anywhere.
On his part, the Anambra State Commissioner for Power and Water Resources, Mr. Julius Chukwuemeka, harped on the need to know the impact and roadmaps that the Power Committee can come up with within a stipulated time frame with regards to short, medium, and long-term goals. Mr. Chukwuemeka, an engineer, commended the committee members, Nestia Group and EEDC representatives for their efforts towards the initiative, stating that results garnered from the two-day sessions have been immense and assured that their findings and recommendations would be presented to the Anambra State Executive Council for validation and adoption.
I believe the discussions we've had here will yield a lot of fruit, and I believe it will metamorphose into a 24/7 power supply. The challenge we are having, if we may put it in broad terms, is issue of monopoly. And if we find a way, either by franchising or otherwise, to get over those challenges, then the number of our dream will be very close.
Contributing, the Power Committee Chairman, Mr. Chiko Okonkwo, appreciated Governor Soludo for the call to serve, adding that their work is to provide a framework for adequate power supply to Ndi Anambra and are built for maximum support.
I want to assure you on behalf of the committee, their team, that we will come up with something implementable and in alignment with the timelines expected by the administration of this law. So once again, on behalf of the team, I'd like to say thank you for being here with us.
The retreat, which was more of interactive session, was attended by experts and critical stakeholders, including Nzaka Chukwunwankpo, Sanwa Bufonwankwo, Mr. Patrick Okibo, Eyo Ekpo, and Vincent Ekweku, among others. From Agolo, Anocha Council area, Blessing Uchendo, ABS News.
Members of the Anambra Traditional Rulers Council have advised the state workforce to ensure that they all get their permanent voter cards, as it is time to return power to the people and make their voices heard. The advice came during a courtesy visit of some members of the Anambra Traditional Rulers Council to the head of service at Jerome Udoji Secretariat, Oka. We have details of that report.
Receiving the traditional rulers, the Anambra head of service, Barrister Okwi Igwegbe, commended the traditional rulers for sensitizing the workers on the need to ensure that they are eligible to vote. Barrister Igwegbe described the message of the traditional rulers as timely, noting that it behooves on all responsible citizens of the country to register for their permanent voters' cards so as to enable them to perform their civic duties. She assured the traditional rulers that their message was well received and would be conveyed to the civil servants in the state. The head of service expressed confidence in her workers, whom she described as responsible citizens that would always choose to perform their civic duties at all times. Earlier, the deputy chairman of the Anambra State Traditional Rulers Council, Igwe Sunday Okafor, the traditional ruler of Okpuno, in Oka South local government area, thanked Barrister Igwegbe for receiving them in her office. Igwe Sunday Okafor said their visit was an answer to a clarion call designed to steering the nation in the right direction and producing a needed change in governance. Lending his voice, the Secretary General of Anambra Traditional Rulers Council, Igwe Pius Omashono, the traditional ruler of Olumbanasa, described the forthcoming election as a God-given opportunity to turn the narrative favorably for the masses. Other traditional rulers in the entourage are Igwe Peter Ezamama of Enugu Umuonia and Professor Charles Anikweze of Okozo.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Anambra State Command, and a non-governmental organization, the Advocates for Global Peace Forum International, have kicked off a door-to-door campaign against the misuse and abuse of drugs in Anambra State. The campaign is designed to be carried out by the youths and of the state, while it will be driven by the two bodies. Our correspondent, David Okbokwasile, reports.
Another person more than his own father.
The door-to-door campaign was kicked off in an event in Oka. The event provided a platform for key stakeholders in drug abuse management and auxiliary security outfits to explore the challenges and the needs for collaborative efforts of all government agencies in tackling drug abuse in southeast Nigeria. Explaining the strategic importance of the event to the campaign, the Secretary General of Advocates for Global Peace Forum International, Pastor Laolani Peku, represented by the National Publicity Secretary of the organization, Ms. Ikeme Funona, stressed the importance of the involvement of stakeholders in developing action plans that will help in the reduction of the access to illicit drugs.
There has been a geometric increase of abuse of drugs and substances by the youth in southeast Nigeria, especially in Anambra State. These youths are the future leaders of our tomorrow. We can't keep quiet and watch our society to deteriorate further. Therefore, our overriding objective in organizing this program today is to share with us some actionable plans on how to limit the access of these drugs to the youths.
In a keynote address, the Anambra State Commander of NDLEA, Mrs. Florence Ezonia, explained that a strategic collaboration among professionals from different fields of specializations will help to cross-fertilize ideas in order to effectively tackle the drug menace, and also a systematic drug education that will help drug abusers come to the realization of the numerous consequences inherent in the behavior. In a lecture that centers on the theme of this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, addressing drug challenges in health and humanitarian crisis, a lecturer at the NDLEA Academy, Jos, Mr. Chris Adabo, identified that Nigeria has more drug prevalence compared to the global average and called on community leaders to get more involved in the fight against drug abuse in their communities.
My advice to the youth out there is to tell them that even the minute substance, the minute amount of substance that would be abused is dangerous to their health, because all chemicals are poison, all drugs are poison. So experimenting with any drug at all definitely lead to devastation.
The chairman on the occasion, Sir Ikechukwu Anonya, and the Anambra State Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Adeoye Irerewuyi, represented by Assistant Corps Commandant Arinze Igwe, called for integrated and extended research to identify specific and peculiar remote and immediate causes of drug abuse prevalence in the state.
We all know why we are gathered here. Both in recent time and presently, something called Ngolomeri is in vogue. They are heading for destructions. This monster that has bedeviled our generation. Our prayer is that by the time we start talking to ourselves, our brothers and sisters who are the targeted audience will listen, and then we will pray as well. Remember them in our prayers, because I know it's not going to be easy.
Participants at the flag-off event, who represented different interest groups, suggested other ways to increase sensitization against illicit drugs in the state, while stakeholders who have contributed in combating illicit drug supply were recognized and honored. I am David Obukwasi reporting for ABS News.
On the national scene, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Transportation, Dr. Magdalene Ajani, has called for synergy among agencies of the federal government in the maritime sector in order to fight corruption. According to her, there is need for the Nigerian Ports Authority, Nigerian Shippers Council, and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency to synergize with other relevant security agencies to fight corruption along the port access roads. Dr. Ajani said this on Friday at the inauguration of the second phase of enlarged presidential port standing task team in Apapa, Lagos. Ajani, who was represented by the Deputy Director, Federal Ministry of Transportation, Adams Ofie, said the ministry was aware of the major challenges of the PSTT due to inadequate logistics and operational needs. Nigeria LNG Limited has reiterated its commitment to 100% of its liquefied petroleum gas production to the domestic market to support the group of LPG utilization in the country and help reduce the health and safety environmental risk associated with the use of other domestic fuel sources. The Deputy Managing Director of the Nigerian LNG Limited, Olaleko Ogunleye, said that NLNG remained committed to collaborating with regulators, partners and industry players to grow the domestic LPG market and bring cleaner energy to Nigerians. He added that through the supply of LPG, NLNG prioritized the supply of clean energy in Nigeria while working collaboratively with the government to grow LPG consumption in Nigeria as part of the national journey to a clean energy future. He said LPG domestic consumption in the country has increased by 300% from about 60,000 metric tons in 2007 to over 1 million metric tons in 2020. He stated further that the increase indicated that the domestic market was one fastest growing LPG markets in the world, and that it's the viability of LPG as a business and its adoption by the citizenry. On the foreign scene, Russia will supply Belarus with missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads after the president complained about nuclear-armed NATO flights coming close to Belarusian border. President Vladimir Putin made the announcement as he received Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko in Moscow. He asked Putin to help his country mount a symmetric response to what he said were nuclear-armed flights by the U.S.-led NATO alliance near Belarus borders. Putin offered to upgrade Belarusian warplanes to make them capable of carrying nuclear weapons amid soaring tensions with the West over Ukraine. Last month, Lukashenko said his country had bought Iskander nuclear-capable missiles and S-400 anti-aircraft anti-missile systems from Russia. Putin has several times referred to nuclear weapons since his country invaded Ukraine on February 24 in what the West has seen as a warning not to intervene. Moscow has alleged that NATO planned to admit Ukraine and use it as a platform to threaten Russia. On sports news, World Basketball ruling body FIBA has insisted that Nigeria remains out of the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup bid for Sydney, Australia later in the year. Despite Nigeria being replaced by Mali, FIBA says that the Nigeria Basketball Federation will still face disciplinary action for withdrawing the Tigress. According to a FIBA statement regarding the Nigeria Basketball Federation released at the Secretariat, the statement reads that the Nigerian women's national team has been withdrawn from the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022 and replaced by Mali as confirmed on June 2, 2022. In June 2, 2022, FIBA noted that it was informed about the decision of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to withdraw the Nigeria Basketball Federation from all international basketball competitions and activities for a period of 2 years. The statement also noted that FIBA has received no official information from the MBBF or other authorities in relation to the Nigeria's men's national team. And with that sports news, we come to the end of the news. But remember, you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. On the main news again, Governor Soludo has reassured of fulfilling promises made to Anambra. Anambra traditional rulers have urged workers to collect permanent voters' cards ahead of 2023 general elections. Federal government has called for synergy among agencies in maritime sector to fight corruption. And on the foreign scene, we brought you reports that Russia is to arm Belarus with missiles against the NATO threats. Note, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. Apologies for beginning a bit behind schedule. My name is Nonya Nwokoye. Good morning and have a great day.